Glad to be with you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the Ryan and Goodman podcast. Make sure you leave us your reviews as well. There was power by the NBA in getting this deal done with the NBA Players Association. The power was money. And that's what it came down to ultimately because, listen, we're going with a December 22nd start date. It looks like everything's pretty much done with that. A lot of the players didn't want this. I mean, LeBron didn't want this, but ultimately it was in the best interest of the league and a lot of the younger guys and a lot of the other players that are going to make good money that are in the primes or early stages of their career because, and I give LeBron credit because he probably could have come out and said it's too soon, but ultimately it's what's best for the players. It's what's best for the league, a 72-game schedule starting December 22nd. I'm fine with it. I don't love it, but I understand it.
First of all, there's such a discrepancy. You've got 8 teams that haven't played since March. You got a few more that haven't played since September. So for them, this is not a big physical burden to have this brief hiatus, okay? We have sympathy for the 2 finalists and the 4 semifinalists. But these are abnormal times. They gotta suck it up. And you're right. Everybody wants the money. The owners want it. The players want it. They got to do this. And my sympathy is limited for LeBron. I mean, or any of them that would be. It's not normal. And ultimately, the big picture is not. How much discussion do you think there is, or do you know about the desire to get back to normal by 21-22?
The other part of this one, Bob, was they had to finish in time for the Olympics.
The Olympics.
Olympics start July 23rd, run through early August, and they wanted to be done for the Olympics with enough times that and I don't even know how much of it was about the guys that are going to play for the U.S. team because I just don't see a lot of those guys playing. It's the international guys that are more necessary for their teams because they're not as loaded as the U.S. is. U.S. can still send, players, 8 through 20 and be fine. They could send Jason Tatum in place of LeBron and probably still win this thing. But some of those other countries cannot. So I think they wanted to give them every opportunity to be able to play for their home countries in the Olympics and give them a little bit of time in between.
Yeah, I agree. It's very important. It's become very important. Once upon a time, it was no connection at all. But ever since David Stern and Boris Stankovic got together 30 years ago, well, and this it is. Okay, so it's just as long as everybody understands that these are totally abnormal times, and they had to come to this. I'm glad that there isn't. There's going to be grousing, but they're going to go along with the program, right? Now, the next question up is the whole. We'll have plenty of time as we see how it unfolds to discuss it. Load management. Oh boy, there's one. To me, there's a couple. There's load management, and there's sit home. There's no management. And the threats. Danny Green has put it out there that LeBron, maybe won't even play.
But how many teams? How many teams is that going to affect, Bob? Right? It's really the Lakers.
No more than 4, you would think, the last
Celtics, 4. And the Celtics, like with Kemba, with Gordon Hayward, but ultimately it was probably going to affect them anyway, like to some degree. Now a little bit more, but like if you're the Clippers, Kawhi is going to do it regardless. They didn't go as deep as people thought they'd go, so it's really more LeBron James, Anthony Davis, even though he's young, you're going to protect him. And to me, why have them play back-to-back nights? They won it all this past year, so the pressure's off them a little bit, especially to get a number 1 seed. What's the difference?
I think, of course, this year's seeding, because there's no home court, didn't matter at all. And I think it oftentimes is overrated. So one thing is, I guess the schedule's they're going to concoct a schedule so that when a team goes to LA, they'll play them both for sure. When they come east, in New York, they're playing the Nets and the Knicks for sure. Probably throwing the Celtics and 76ers if you're a Western team. Make sure it does that kind of schedule. I'm sure it's going to be some scheduling whining. There's no question. You know, you always got teams like Seattle always travels more than Seattle. They're not in the league. They used to be the team that traveled more than anybody, you know, but now maybe it's Golden State because of their, or Portland, excuse me. You know, they'll get that. I don't know. There's going to be, it's a whole, we always kid about it's an imperfect world. Of course it is. It is a really imperfect world now, and they're going to have to live with it.